Warning, doctors may be hazardous to your health.
Is hand washing something that is routinely done by healthcare professionals in a hospital? No.
I'm one of 5 million nurses, and within 60 days of being a nurse, I saw a patient killed by a medication error.
Medical mistakes are at frightening levels.
Well, medical errors represent the third leading cause of death in the United States after heart disease and cancer.
It can happen to anyone.
And I pick up the phone and, you know, my mom's just saying, your mom's not breathing, your mom's not breathing.
I was thinking to myself, you know, I was supposed to take my little girl home, and now my little girl's going to the morgue.
Just what do you need to know to protect yourself? Fox News reporting. Beware. Danger at the doctor. Here's Bill Hemmer.
When we visit the hospital, we hope to be cured, not get sicker or possibly worse. As a society, we're well aware of the big threats to our health, heart disease, cancer, and so on. But what if one of the biggest threats is the world of medicine itself? This hour, we're looking at medical errors. How much danger are we in? How are they being managed, and what can we personally do to prevent them? And a warning, some of the things you will see in this report may disturb you. We begin now in Cleveland, Ohio.
I thought she was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Friends called them Barbie and Ken. Kelly Buck and Chris Jerry were college sweethearts who married in 1991 and started a family. First came Nate, then Catherine Elizabeth, and then, in 2004, Emily. But there was a problem with Emily.
Emily was actually born with what's called a sacrococcygeal teratoma.
That's an external tumor at the base of the tailbone.
And the pediatric surgeon, he said, Chris, don't worry about this. He said, this is very benign. We can remove it.
Emily bounced back from the surgery, but then, at 18 months...
She was starting to grab her side every once in a while and wince in pain.
They took Emily for an MRI. When no one came out for a long time, Chris, who, as it happens, worked for a medical imaging company, feared the worst.
All of a sudden, the radiologist, as well as Emily's surgeon, came out, told us we should probably sit down.
Emily had a grapefruit-sized mass in her abdomen. She would need chemotherapy immediately.
Why did this happen? Why is this, you know, Emily's second major affliction, and she's only been in this world for a year and a half?
Are you having fun, Emily?
For half a year, Emily got monthly treatments at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital in Cleveland. However, when Emily did not seem to suffer from the usual side effect of the therapy, her oncology team worried she was not responding. She went for a second MRI.
And lo and behold, in their words, not mine, a miracle had occurred. We were informed that not only did the tumor completely disappear, there wasn't even any residual scar tissue in her little abdomen remaining.
The Jerry family was looking forward to their future together.
We were elated, absolutely elated. I wanted to take the kids to Disney World. I wanted to continue to grow as a family.
To play it safe, the doctors recommended one more round of chemotherapy to ensure there were no cancer cells left. Chris and Kelly agreed, and on February 24, 2006, Emily's second birthday, she went in for her final treatment.
By now, word had traveled throughout the whole facility. All the clinicians had heard about this beautiful, angelic-looking little girl being cured of this horrible affliction. People are bringing her cookies and birthday cards and things of that nature.
The treatment went well for the first 2 days. On the third and final day, siblings Nate and Catherine were getting ready for a celebration when their little sister would return.
They had painted welcome home signs and were just so elated and could not wait. I arrived at the hospital about 15 minutes after they had started the IV. That was probably the only time that I was late before they started the IV. And when I walked to Emily's treatment room on the second floor, I remember this in slow motion. Although it happened very quickly. My wife was holding Emily in her arms, and Emily was completely unconscious. And my wife had just this horrible look of fear in her eyes, and I said, "What's going on?" She shook her head, and that moment just seemed is burned into my brain.
No one could figure out why Emily was unconscious. She was taken to the pediatric intensive care unit. Her brain had started to swell.
And that's the part of this that bothers me the most. I can't imagine the amount of pain that little Emily had to be going through.
For 3 days, Emily showed no sign of brain activity. Chris and Kelly had to make the most painful decision possible. They took their little girl off life support.
What was the most difficult part in all of this is my baby girl was cured of this horrible affliction. And now she was taken away from us. I was thinking to myself, you know, I was supposed to take my little girl home, and now my little girl's going to the morgue. Our SUV happened to be parked on the top floor of the parking garage. And I thought to myself, maybe I should just take a flying leap off this parking garage and go and join my little girl.
But Chris realized he could not give up. He could not let his daughter die and have it end at that. He decided to investigate into the cause of Emily's death.
I was thinking to myself, this is not rocket science here, guys. It had to be something with her IV mixture. I dug through the trash and found the partially full bag. And I asked the nurse, I said, please call down for an administrator in charge. I'd like to give this to them.
It turned out a pharmaceutical technician, Catherine Dudash, had created the mixture that was put into an IV compounding bag. The hospital's pharmacist, Eric Kropp, was busy that day and okayed the mixture without properly checking it first.
I made the assumption, the wrong one, that of course a registered pharmacist is going to prepare any and all IV medications. And as I began researching this, I found out that's not the case.
Emily had been given a bag with a 23.4% concentration of sodium chloride, 26 times the amount required. That's what killed his daughter.
For many, many years, this is something I felt a lot of guilt about. It was one of the first times I wasn't there when the nurses started the IV, and this was done in a compounding bag. I would have insisted that nursing call down to pharmacy and say, hey, why is this in a compounding bag? And I was 15 minutes late.
In the end, the hospital apologized for the medical error. The pharmacist, Eric Kropp, who signed off on the IV solution, he was fired and his license revoked. He was tried for involuntary manslaughter and received a sentence of 6 months in jail, 400 hours of community service, and 3 years probation. The pharmaceutical technician, Catherine Dudash, was also fired but did not receive any prison time. The Jerry family received a marginal settlement from the hospital. That's because Chris refused to sign a full non-disclosure agreement. He wanted to keep Emily's story alive. However, Kelly Jerry disagreed with her husband's decision. This helped lead to one last casualty from the original mistake. Their marriage ended in divorce in June 2009.
I really think that that's one of the things that led to the demise of our relationship. Her attitude was, what are you going to do, Chris, to change things? You know, Emily's gone. There's nothing we can do except move on as a family. But what was burning in the back of my mind was, how many other people's babies and children are going to die due to preventable medical error?
You having fun, sweetie pie?
I didn't feel like it was optional.